Hi everybody, I'm Jordan Rolfus from Beagle Rampant Productions, and you may remember in some of my recent-ish videos that I've been talking about my brand new Darter Pro laptop from System 76 that runs Linux Ubuntu. And I've been saying, yeah, I'm going to show you guys all about this laptop and everything that I'm learning about Linux. And today, promises made, promises kept. We're going to go ahead and jump down the Linux rabbit hole and see everything that I'm learning thus far about Linux and this really cool system. I'm very happy with everything that I have and how well this has been working for me. So I should also preference this video that I'm not a computer engineer. In fact, I'm kind of computer illiterate, so some die-hard computer fans and Linux users are definitely going to have some cringy moments with some of the things I'm doing, so politely let me know in the comments section if I'm doing something really scary wrong or if I'm getting some of my facts and my stories not entirely straight. Yeah, I'm just kind of going from what I've read here and there on Wikipedia and from what I'm doing on video research. I am by no means an expert, but I really enjoy what I have, and I am really excited to be sharing all of that with you guys. So sit back, relax, and we're gonna jump into the Linux rabbit hole. Guys, it seems like every time I press record up here in this studio, my neighbors decide to go ahead and have a large hootenanny, or they start blasting their 8 billion watt car stereos and literally shake my entire house, but yeah, they're good people, so I can't be too mad at them for too long there, and we're chill here at Beagle Rampant Productions anyway. I mean, nobody clicks a Beagle Rampant video to see something of quality here, so we'll just go with the flow, you know? But jumping into the Linux rabbit hole here, before I decided to switch to Linux, I needed to figure out, okay, what actually is a Linux and how did this all get started? Well, to really discuss the origins of Linux, we need to look back to 1983, 1984 with a gentleman named Richard Stallman. Stallman wanted to develop a Unix-based operating system, and when I say Unix, I mean the proprietary system they use at AT&T and Bell Laboratories. Stallman wanted to create a free and open source host of operating systems and software. And FOSS, Free Open Source Software, is going to be kind of a recurring acronym we're going to run into. And eventually, Stallman's research resulted into the GNU's Not Unix. GNU was spoken as GNU. Fast forward a little bit there to 1991, a Finnish-American student by the name of Linus Torvalds developed the Linux kernel based off of GNU and the research that Stallman had done. Of course, Linus Torvalds didn't want to name the kernel Linux because he thought that would have sounded conceited, but eventually the name just sort of happened. I think he found a folder on his desktop system that said Linux, so I guess it just sort of stuck. I think that's how the story goes. Let me know if I'm wrong about that. And when we refer to Linux, we're really actually referring to the Linux kernel. The kernel is sort of the main program of a computer's operating system. It communicates with the hardware, the applications, and ultimately with the end user. It's kind of the reason why whenever you type something on your keyboard, something is displayed on the screen. You have the kernel to thank for that. Windows 7, 8, and 10 are using the Windows NT kernel, I believe. And all of these Linux operating systems, known as distributions, we call them Linux distributions, run the Linux kernel. And at last count, there are over 300 Linux distributions, and those are the ones we actually can account for. There are probably thousands that aren't officially counted or recognized. Anybody can download the Linux kernel, modify it, and go ahead and build their own distribution from that modified kernel that they do. Linux is completely free to download. It's free, it's open source, it's all of the freedom that Stallman intended for the GNU. And also, Stallman is the founder of the Free Software Foundation, so there's very much an issue of freedom of speech with Linux. Linux and GNU and open source software is sort of a way to combat censorship in many respects, so very admirable there, you know, to keep the electronic world free and open and transparent is kind of paramount to freedom, I would think, you know. But that's enough of a political tangent there. Going on to Linux and my laptop here, you can actually install Linux on any sort of computer system. You can go to your Windows desktop and go ahead and put on a Linux distribution there. But it's highly recommended that you get a computer system with hardware that is tailored for Linux, that is optimized to run Linux. And in all of the research I've done, it really seemed like the masters of Linux hardware was a company known as System 76 out in Colorado. They are a diverse team of engineers and programmers who are dedicated to spreading the freedom and efficiency and reliability of Linux. And I really enjoy the system I have here. This video is not sponsored by System 76. We don't receive a penny from anybody on Beagle Rampant, and boy, do I feel that sometimes, that we don't receive a penny from anybody here on Beagle Rampant. But this is a really good system. That being said, okay, I have some stories with my dealings with System 76. This computer that you're seeing right here is not the first one that I had. I ordered another one previously, and for whatever reason, when I went to install Ubuntu, it did not register my user account. Okay, that was really weird, and I looked on System 76 support website, and the response was, oh, this is a very complicated issue. Huh, great. So I decided, okay, let me go ahead, I think it's on this flash drive, let me go ahead and put Linux Mint on a little flash drive and see if I can't boot it up and install it and things be good. I was able to install Mint, and it kept crashing. So something was very clearly wrong with that laptop, and I went ahead and got in contact with System 76. The response, it wasn't like, you know, days and days without me hearing from them. They responded within the next day, and they were so friendly and so dedicated to getting my system up and running, but ultimately we decided it probably would be best to go ahead, send that machine back, and then they'll send this replacement machine, which I have had zero problems with. So they are a very dedicated and talented group of individuals there. And I will say, this is just something that kind of you know, is just a little bit of a pet peeve with me. Not just for System 76, but for companies in general. It was like $50 to ship the computer, and it's like, you know, like, shipping, I don't like it, and it took a week. So I don't like it when shipping takes a while and it isn't free. That's always just sort of irked me, but it's not a specific System 76 problem. Overall, the team at System 76 did a great job getting me hooked up with this system. I'm running Ubuntu now. It's running amazingly. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of the specs and hardware that this amazing Darter Pro comes with. Even before you get to your actual laptop from System 76, they make sure to put it into some really cool packaging here. It's fun, it's whimsical, it has that nice space-age feel to it. They have a lovely little welcome package to get you into the Linux family. It's quite clear that System 76 cares about bringing you into the world of Linux, and it is very evident with this packaging here. This is some very good, high-quality packaging here, and it's fun. Using the Darter Pro in the systems from this company is just fun and enjoyable, and that's even conveyed through the packaging here, man. But going on to the actual laptop system itself, we have a little bit of a charger action here going. My Darter Pro can go about an hour and a half without needing to get charged, so the battery life definitely could use some improvement there, but certainly nothing too absolutely bonkers. I mean, we have a couple of USB 3 ports here. And that's another interesting thing. I was a little bit concerned that all of my external hard drives, my NTFS hard drive and my Mac OS journal drive, wasn't really going to be compatible with this new system, but it worked absolutely beautifully. I was able to transfer all of my files. There were a few files here and there that just did not want to transfer, giving me a permissions error, but I went ahead and put it on another flash drive I thought I had near here, but I guess I don't. Oh my gosh, where'd that flash drive go? But I just transferred from hard drive to flash drive, and then flash drive to system hard drive here, all from this very same computer, so, and there wasn't any problem like that, so, yeah, the flash drives, plugging flash drives in, that was something I was worried about with Linux. I heard stories of, I plug my flash drive in my Linux computer and it doesn't work, but I didn't have any concerns like that, so System 76, once again, home run with the Darter Pro here. We also have some inputs. We have a microphone input and a nice little headphone input. You see I got my speaker jack in there for these lovely little speakers here. Going on to the other side, I don't actually know. This looks like another USB connector. Yeah, these look like USB connectors. I don't have anything, I think, that actually works with these two connectors here, so not sure what that's all about. We have an HDMI connector and a SD card reader. Nice little Ethernet thing that you actually pull down. I use Wi-Fi, so I don't play with Ethernet all that much here. And again, all of these inputs work perfectly on my Darter Pro here. This version, this replacement laptop that they sent me, it's working perfectly. I am absolutely happy with it. And, of course, let's take a look at the keyboard. The keyboard feels really good to type on, but you notice a key thing here. everything has this weird shift to the left. If you try to just sort of type on a keyboard like how you're kind of used to, you'll be completely shifted. They have this really delightful number pad over here on the right-hand side, but that kind of awkwardly pushed everything over to the left. But again, it's one of those things, in the amount of time it took me to complain about that, I actually got over it, so no need to worry about there. What's a bigger issue for the keyboard is when I press caps lock, there really seems to be no way to determine if the caps lock is actually on or off. There is no caps lock or number lock light. Maybe I'm overlooking something, but that seems like a crazy oversight. Maybe there's something I can do on Ubuntu itself to indicate whether or not I have caps lock on or off, but for me, that is absolutely crazy that there's no indicator on the keyboard itself. That just seems really, really weird to me, but yeah, hopefully I'm just overlooking something. Everything else about the keyboard feels great. There's a left click and a right click. This mouse and trackpad is exactly what I was hoping for with the mouse and trackpad for a laptop. Gone are the days of the Macintosh where they don't even try to give you buttons. I don't know, this feels like this feels like what the MacBooks should be nowadays. I feel like maybe Macintosh has gone down such a weird road, but System 76 understands how a computer should actually be feeling. And of course we have this delightful little Asus DVD read and write drive that you can add on for $50. Now, the thing is actually a good deal cheaper than $50, but hey, it's completely compatible with the hardware on the Darter Pro, and I love how it has the little sprocket in the center here where I can put discs of the weird GameCube size in here. Finally, I can see what's on the Herbs GameCube disc, so it's a good enough value to go ahead and put on your System 76 laptop there. In terms of the internal specs of this laptop, we have 4.2 gigahertz processor, we have 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive. Don't make fun, but I have an Intel ultra high definition graphics card. I know people like to make fun of Intel graphics cards. I'll take the hit on that. And this computer, I also opted in for the Wi-Fi 6. My router doesn't even use Wi-Fi 6, but the internet runs so quickly and efficiently on this Darter Pro. It feels absolutely amazing. So yeah, all told, for all of these delightful little specs here, the Darter Pro, and for the kind of unnecessary shipping charge, I don't know. I don't like paying for shipping if you have to wait a while. If I pay for shipping, I expect it to be kind of immediate. Not a System 76 problem, though. A lot of companies do that sort of thing, and, you know, ultimately, I'm proud to have the System 76 logo on my videos right here. So, I mean, they deserve a look at if you are thinking about getting a new laptop, if you're in the new market for a laptop. All told, it cost me about $2,200, and this also includes a 3-year protection plan, so good value that you just don't find on a Macintosh. You look at those Macintosh price points now, you don't get anywhere near that. So, God bless you, System 76. This is an absolutely stellar project here, and I'm really glad to be a part of the team here. So let's fire up this puppy finally and take a look at Ubuntu and some of the software I'm using and some of the distributions. So let's get this puppy started. So this what you're looking at right here, kind of a fun mirror within a mirror within a mirror sort of thing here, is OBS. This is a free and open source streaming software, and it's not just available for Linux, it's also available on Windows and Macintosh here. Look how crazy that is. And it should also be able to do some streaming, so we might check that out a little bit, maybe see what Jessifer's playthrough of Carrier's like. But yeah, just some of the software I've been using here for Linux. By and large, when we'll just go into my YouTube stuff, photo here, Let's Play Season 2, Illbleed. Oh my gosh, you guys remember when I did Illbleed? Man, wasn't that crazy. But, I don't like Ubuntu's video program. I went ahead and installed VLC. Hi, everybody! Yep, that's my voice. And VLC is pretty good, but there's one problem here. Okay, I'm hitting the right arrow, and we can move frame by frame. That's good. Those are tickets to Illbleed. Now, what if I want to go back a frame? What is that? So, like, that's absolutely crazy. So, yeah, VLC, while better than the one that comes with Ubuntu, still has problems, but you can go ahead, and take the snapshots. That's how I make a lot of my thumbnails for my videos here. One program that I really love over here is Olive Video Editor. If you guys care about small, independent YouTubers and video makers and indie film, you owe it to yourself to check out olivevideoeditor.org and give them a little bit of a donation there. I donated to Olive. Okay, it doesn't want to take me to the website there. This program is very much in its alpha phase, though, and so there are reports of things being broken and glitchy. I'm going to get to that in a little bit, but ever since I uploaded the tour of St. Peter and James Cathedral in downtown Cincinnati, every single video I've done, including that one, has been edited with Olive. So this is an absolutely stellar program here. I'll go into my home folder here, YouTube stuff, Random Insanity, what do I got here? My Do Not Watch 3 a.m. video, okay, yeah. So, I mean, got some stuffed animals behind me. Also got a narwhal. It has, it's amazing. God bless you guys if you still watch Beagle Rampant. Like, you deserve a trophy. But you have volume meters. You have a really good color corrector. I already kind of blasted this video with some color correction in Final Cut there, but I can go in and do video effects, color correction. I can, increase the highlights and go real nuclear. Oh, look! That's even worse than what I usually do there. Oh, man. Yeah, you guys like that? So... And, unlike my other system, I don't have to wait 24 hours for this thing to render here. And with Olive, you can go ahead, save your color corrections as an XML file and just load it up for later. So there's a lot to love with the Olive Video Editor. I do maybe wish it had some more controls with the audio, but really what I wish it had like a pen tool. That would be really helpful, but I mean, you can do keyframing, so like, it's basically, the same sort of thing. And then I need to, make a change. Yeah, so that's pretty much how keyframing works. It's basically the same concept as, you know, the pencil in Final Cut, but I just wish I had, like, the ability to actually draw it on the waveform, and I love how it has a good, reliable waveform. It has tracks, multi-track editing. Olive is really, really good, and you owe it to, you know, small indie film to take a look at supporting Olive. So now let's take a look at some of the other Linux distributions here, just to get a look and feel. We'll start with Debian, one of the very first Linux distributions that was out there. I have a little VirtualBox virtual machine there. It's never good, I guess, when you see error, but be that as it may. And log into Debian. And Debian, when you install it right out of the box, uses what we call the Gnome Desktop. And when I look at the Gnome Desktop here, I have to ask myself, okay, where on earth is the computer? What is this? Let's see. Oh, sorry, I accidentally minimized it there a little bit. So what you have to do is press the super key on your keyboard, and that opens up the dashboard. This uses a dash system. And when I was opening up the terminal on Ubuntu earlier, I used Control-Alt-T. But the keyboard shortcuts are desktop to, are kind of desktop specific there, so I have to go into the search here and type terminal, and this is just something weird that kind of happens with Debian here, so I think I installed it wrong. I'm really computer illiterate here. So I do sudo apt-get update, and I enter my password. Jordan is not in the sudoers file. This incident will be reported. Reported to who? I am your emperor! Yeah, well. What we can do is change to the root user by using this su switch user, and now I'm at the root for the Debian system here. Now, I wonder, do I have to do sudo, or can I just do apt-get update? And, okay, there it goes. This is one way you can go ahead and update your Linux system, and it's really important to do regular updates. You can also go in and, with the software store, and, not necessarily the store, I apologize, you can see how much I play with my Debian virtual machine. There should be something in here where we can, like, software and updates. Okay, so this is what it would be for Debian. There is a way with GNOME to go ahead and download an extension that takes your dashboard to a dock and have it feel like Macintosh OS or Ubuntu. Why on earth GNOME doesn't include that anyway is kind of beyond me, but be that as it may, so that's Debian, one of the first distributions that was out there and still being actively developed. I mean, I ain't the biggest fan of it, but then again, me being incompetent and installing something incorrectly is, you know, certainly not Debian's fault there. This next one we're going to take a look at is actually Pop! OS, a Debian-based distribution, very much like Ubuntu, that System 76 created. So System 76 created their own distribution here, and for Linux you have these little gears here, so you can switch your desktop environment. Pop uses the GNOME Desktop, and for whatever reason, I could not get Dash to Dock working on my GNOME Desktop here for Pop! OS. So we're just going to go ahead and use the Ubuntu desktop, and I mean, yeah, it's fun. I love how System 76 is, you know, fun and kind of wacky with their stuff there. My neighbors are doing drum practice. Isn't that a good time? But you see, the docks over there on the left, I don't really see how I can actually bring the dock down to the bottom. They have the dock kind of flush on the left here, but basically Pop! OS is going to function a lot like Debian and Ubuntu. It's based off of Ubuntu, which is based off of Debian. So Pop! OS, a good, reliable distribution there. We have Windows 10. I went ahead and virtualized Windows 10, and there's a reason why I virtualized Windows 10 on this system. Everything has been working really well, except for my printer. I'm running a Canon Pixma MX882 printer, and for whatever reason, the newest version of Ubuntu doesn't seem to want to play with, ran into a non-fatal problem? Yes, I had a share folder there, but we don't need to worry about that because I got rid of the share folder. Typically, you can't interact too much between a virtual machine and your host operating system. It just, because it's kind of a security issue. Usually, people create a virtual machine to test and mess around with applications, or if you know you're going to kind of the skeetier side of the internet there, you don't want that affecting your host system. You know, it's always funny to see, like, what kind of display I'm going to get on my Windows virtual machine here. But, yeah, for whatever reason, the newest version of Ubuntu, 20.04, Ubuntu is developed by a company named Canonical. They're based in the United Kingdom, and, okay, they have some, there have been some concerns about Canonical and the way Ubuntu kind of does things. Particularly, these concerns were raised from the YouTube channel Baby Wogue. Absolutely great channel. I recommend you check them out. They've been instrumental in helping me along in my Linux journey here. Love Baby Wogue, but yeah, they go way over my head, and I doubt they're watching, but if they are, they're cringing right now. So we'll go ahead and let's actually do a photo of Wagner. We'll print out a photo of Wagner, and I'll let you guys know if that's any good. Yeah. They don't make them any more handsome than that, do they? So this is running very, very slowly because I'm on a virtual machine and I'm using a lot of resources to record my screen. So that's why it seems like it's kind of taking forever. I've allocated a pretty good deal of memory to Alright, so Mr. Handsome there, Richard Wagner. So we'll go ahead, you hit print. And I'm going to briefly run down, and my printer's all the way downstairs. So I'm going to run and pick this up from the printer. It is very much low on ink. Yeah, look at that go. But yeah, owner Jordan, so yeah, I'm going ahead and printing this bad boy out, this lovely photo of Richard Wagner there. I'll check back with you guys in just a second to see how this bad boy did. Alright everyone, so it finished printing, and as you can see, it came out in black and white. Don't know why that's been doing that. It's been doing that for the past couple of things that I've printed out. I thought, okay, maybe that's just a thing with the shared folder, because I was printing from a shared folder. And apparently that actually wasn't the case, I guess. Maybe it's the fact that the ink cartridges are running low. Something I need to look into. But if anybody knows of a way to get the Canon MX882 Pixma series to work with Ubuntu 20.04, I would really appreciate it. Ubuntu releases, they give 2 releases a year, and on the even number year in April, it's the long-term support. So right now I'm running the long-term support version of Ubuntu, so 20.04 is LTS, long-term support. And the next version of Ubuntu is going to be 20.10, so it's really sneaking up on us there. They release a new version of Ubuntu in April and in October, but the long-term support is every 2 years there, if that makes any lick of sense there. So some of the other Linux distributions I've tried installing Arch, couldn't do it. Arch doesn't really use what we call a graphical installer, and graphical installer is, you just basically click through and create a user account, you're good to go. Arch Linux does not have that. I think there's a way to get that, but you really have to know what you're doing. Arch Linux is for the advanced user. They know what they want, they know what needs to happen here. But another distribution that I really enjoy is Fedora. Fedora is really nice. They're developed by a company called Red Hat, and you might be thinking, okay, it's weird that these for-profit companies are, developing Linux distributions. Fedora was actually recently acquired by IBM to the tune of, like, $30 billion or something, an obscene amount, way more than what Disney paid George Lucas for in the acquisition of Star Wars. So this is really, really crazy. But you see, we have the Gnome Desktop here on Fedora. I was able to get Dash to dock to work here on Fedora. Fedora is really, really nice. People say Fedora is for an advanced user. I don't really see that. Am I missing something? Could it be the fact that it's what we call a rolling release and updates are kind of just gradually rolled out to it, and you run the risk of, okay, maybe this new update all of a sudden isn't compatible with everything? Is it the actual stuff in the command terminal? Because when you're a computer illiterate guy like me, command terminal junk looks like command terminal junk. Ooh, I got the fan kicking up in the high gear here. I've never really heard the fan on my Darter Pro before, but I guess it's because the memory demands of recording and running virtual machines and what have you. But, I mean, Fedora is really nice. This is the Gnome Desktop. I like Fedora. Fedora mostly uses free software. There's a few, I think you can get paid software on the Ubuntu store, but I think everything on Fedora is free. I really like Fedora. I mean, I'm not ready to start switching distributions or anything like that, but if I were to switch, Fedora would be a very, very nice candidate. But this is Fedora with the customized Gnome Desktop. Everything really seems to work with Fedora. I mean, Fedora is a very nice distribution, and word on the street is Linus Torvalds himself actually uses Fedora. So the next desktop environment we're going to look at for Fedora here is Cinnamon. Now, Linux Mint actually ships with Cinnamon desktop. Mint and Cinnamon. Gosh, that sounds so tasty. But, you remember, as I mentioned way long ago in this unnecessarily rambly video, that Mint is the distribution I tried to install, and it just kept crashing on me. So we have Cinnamon here with Fedora. Sometimes I gotta go in and out of full screen mode, and now, mind you, desktop environment, we're still dealing with the Fedora operating system, the Fedora Linux distribution here. We're still very much in Fedora mode, but this looks very different from the Gnome Desktop that I just showed you here. This feels very Windowsy to me. This just has a kind of Windows vibe to it. A lot of Fedora uses they use DNF group install, and I realized I just put group install, but I didn't tell it to do anything. Sudo DNF update is... I really don't know my bash lingo, guys. Okay, so look at all these downloads I could go ahead and do. You know, I'm just gonna close the terminal and kill the process. You notice sometimes with Ubuntu I'm thinking, okay, is it apt-get, apt-install, but apparently it's apt-get, I think. I mean, I never said I was a bash terminal expert. Bash is the kind of lingo that we have here. And again, Windows was the only thing that worked with the printer. I tried printing from Fedora here, and it just wouldn't have it. It recognizes the printer. It knows that there's a printer in my house, but it just doesn't want to play with the printer. So, yeah, that was the Fedora with Cinnamon. There's all sorts of other desktop environments. The weird one, and this will give us some system errors here, is Mate. And yes, it is actually named after the herb that's used for the popular Argentine beverage, mate. You've seen that in my Buenos Aires video, how we go ahead and we drink the mate. So this desktop environment, Mate, I've tried to just install it on all of the distributions. It wouldn't let me. Maybe these are new versions of the distributions that don't play with the current release of Mate. I don't know what's up with it, but I found Fedora with Mate built into it, and restoring virtual machine a few seconds ago. Yeah, I was messing around with this. Ooh, and I have it here, you know, sudo dnf install neofetch. I guess I wanted to install, neofetch on here? Well, if I knew how to. Do I have neofetch already on here? Okay, yeah, so I need to, sudo dnf group install neofetch, and then I enter my password, waiting for process with PID 1814 to finish. Okay, this was where it, like, really crashed the other night when I was messing around with this. See, it still has, okay, it updated the date, yeah. But, this is what Mate looks like. I mean, it's fine. I mean, nothing too horrible, nothing too extraordinary. I myself really enjoyed the Gnome Desktop, specifically when it's configured to have a dock. I don't know why Gnome can't ship with the ability to just have it on the dock there. That just seems so weird to me. But yeah, you have, you know, your Firefox here. I mean, yeah, Mate works reasonably well with the Fedora distribution with it built in, but I just could not get Mate to install on any of the other distributions. I don't know what I was doing wrong. I'm not real computer literate, so, you know, yeah, some of the weird things, like for Mate you have to go into system shutdown, things, I don't know. I love drinking Mate, don't know if I really love playing with Mate as a actual desktop environment. Overall though, really happy with Ubuntu, really happy with System 76 and Linux. Thank you guys so much for watching. My gosh, this has been such a long and rambling video, but I really appreciate that you stuck it out. I'm Jordan Rolfus from Beagle Rampant Productions. You know you're the best fans of any YouTuber in the world. You do know that, right? Because you certainly are. And, yeah, this is just how much I love. I didn't even scratch the surface of everything Linux has to offer. People study for years to become not masters at Linux. So, thank you so much for watching. Sorry this video was so rambling. We'll catch you with some other adventures. Bye!